श्रीवादे पार्षदवेशकारिणे नमो महावरण्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामके गौरत्मजे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते कान्ता श्रीराधा नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गे श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रिय। जय श्री कृष्ण कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च कृपाणां तारतम्य वैष्णवे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, शिव शांति भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Yes, Hare Krishna. So I'll just share my notes. So I'll just revise what we discussed yesterday and then continue the further slokas. So yesterday, first beginning, we were discussing about that the whole 13 to 18 chapters that is called Jnana Yoga, and why this is called as a why Krishna is speaking about the Jnana Yoga, although the bhakti is ultimate, uh, because Arjuna wanted to know about that how one can come out of the material nature, because Krishna discussed about that I become the swift deliverer from this samsara. You know. So then Arjuna is asking that how one can come out of this samsara. You know. So for that, then Krishna start discussing about the Jnana Yoga here, and then we were discussing about that how Jnana Yoga is helpful if it helps us to attain devotion for the Lord. But if a Jnana Yoga uh, is just is not utilized for is you become useless if it is not utilized for the attaining the devotion for the Lord. Even the what we say bhakti is ultimate. Why? Because even the jnani yoga, karma yoga, any other yogic process is there. Without bhakti, they all are useless because the destination, the goal of the particular yoga cannot be attained without bhakti. And then that's why we saw this also that how the definition given by Rupa Goswami about the Suddha Bhakti is that Anya Abhilasita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anamita Anna Kulena Krishnanu Silanam. The Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. It should not be covered by Jnana and Karma, Bhakti. And, but Jnana and Karma can be there. And it helps us to attain devotion for the Lord. So here it is not mentioned Jnana Karmadi Sunyam, but Jnana Karmadi Anavritam as well. And then we saw further that how this is the overview of the chapter. Again, you can see that Arjuna first sloka, then he asked the six questions, and then Krishna is answering 2 to 7 Chitra Chitrike, that is third, fourth question, 8 to 12, then Jnana, and 13 to 19 Diya, sixth question, 20 to 26 Prakriti and Purusha, and then 27 to 35 he'll be giving the Jnana Chaksu, which the how these all can come together. uh, Am I audible? I think Pritama Chaitanya Bhai is telling that
हाँ
no
Pradeep,
voice is.
you are audible, Pradeep.
Yes. Okay, okay. Okay. And then the first shloka then is asking these six questions. What is a Prakriti Purusha? What is a Chitra Chitragya and Jnana Agya? Correct. So then Krishna answers that what is a Chitra? The bodies, which is called the Chitra. Correct. Then we saw that how the different living entities get the different bodies because of a different capacity to enjoy, and because the how much ever the you have to the degree you have the money, and or the amount you have according to that only you can purchase an apartment, and The same way, the different living entities have the different karmas, and due to different karmas, they have the different capacity to enjoy, and then they get the different apart, apartments in the sense of bodies. Uh, But the most important thing is that after getting this body, how we utilize this body. And are we utilizing the body for mental activities or spiritual activities? And what uh, we are doing, what with this body, what kind of activities. There's a choices. Every living entity is there. He can perform the mental activities, and by that he will get more mental bodies. But somebody get utilize the same body for spiritual activities, he'll get the spiritual body. Right? And then Krishna starts describing our knower of the field. Who is the knower of the field? The Atma. Right? So in this sloka, it is been mentioned that Atma is the knower of the field. Right? And here we saw that the Kshetragya, one who does should not identify with the body, is called Kshetragya. This was the amazing definition given by Prabhupada. Right? And then we saw the cause of his suffering. Why living entity suffers in this matter world? Because it forgets Krishna. Right? So, like Baba says that we have why we have forgotten Krishna? Because we did not like Krishna. And then in the next sloka, you know, then Krishna is telling that I am also Kshetragya. You know. So then we saw that Mayavadis, they say that okay, you know, this soul and super soul both are the same. But how can it be same? Because here the word cha has been used. Cha means what? Kshetragya cha. Cha means I am also. You know. So I am also there. In the room, X is there in the room, and I am also there in the room. Means X is different from I. Then means soul is different and super soul is different. So this is the shloka where the presence of super soul has been described by Krishna. And then here also matam mama. The Krishna said, "This is my mat." The Lord is absolute. So his matam is his opinion is also absolute. So that way, so here also about Matam Mama, I one more thing I wanted to say. This is about Krishna's humility also. Nana. Okay, this is one of my opinion. Nana. So this is also the humility of Krishna, which has. And then we saw that how the soul is the occupier and the super soul is the real occupier of this body. And this was the amazing statement that how Krishna is Rishikesa is the master of the senses. Nana. So our mind and senses, how much ever we try to control them, but ultimately it is in the hand of Krishna. If we serve Him, if we pray to Him, and uh, and we please Him, then He will control our mind and senses. And- Okay, let us go ahead. Now, today we will be moving to this fourth shloka. तच्चित्रं यश्च यत्र यदृक् च यत् विकारे यतश्च यत् स च यत्प्रभावश्च तत्समासेन मे शृणु. Yes, somebody read.
Now, please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are.
हाँ. So now, because Arjuna is asked about the Kshetragya, है ना, Kshetra. So then Krishna is now going to tell more detail about the field of activity, uh, the field is specifically. The five things Krishna is telling that I'm going to describe to you. So this all of you can note down also. The how body is constituted. This is the first thing which he will be telling in the text 6. What changes body undergoes, that he will be telling in text 7 and 20. And, and how, when, and where the body is produced, that he will be telling in the text 6, 21, and 22. And then identity of the knower of the field of activity, that he will be telling in 14 to 18 and 23. And, and then influence of the knower. what is the influence of Atma? You know? So that is a 14 to 18 he will be direct. Yeah. Okay, somebody can read this purport.
The Lord is describing the field of activities and the knower of the field of activities in their constitutional position. One has to know how this body is constituted, the materials of which this body is made, under whose control this body is working, how the changes are taking place, where from the changes are coming, what the causes are, what the reasons are, what the ultimate goal of the individual soul is, and what the actual form of the individual soul is. One should also know the distinction between the individual living souls and the supersoul, their different influences, their potentials, etc. One just has to understand this Bhagavad Gita directly from the description given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all this will be clarified. But one should be careful not to consider the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everybody to be one with the individual soul, the Jiva. This is something like equating the potent and the impotent.
So here Krishna, Prabhupada is writing that these all things and how body is constituted and which and from which all the materials the body is made and under what whose control the body is working. This all will be described in these chapters. Means everything is there about the body. And so, but at the last, Prabhupada is telling, the one of the biggest mistake which the Mayavadis they equate the individual soul with the soul. They understand that Jiva and the Lord is the same. And so then Prabhupada says it is like something like equating the potent and impotent. And because Jiva is called impotent, and what is the potency of a Jiva? And Jiva cannot do anything actually in one sense without the sanction of the Lord. No. So Jiva is called impotent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually potent. And, so like you see, and, so Jiva cannot do any activity, or Jiva cannot perform anything without the sanction of the Lord. Until and until unless it is sanctioned by the Lord, he cannot perform. Like for example, a man and woman come together. It's not sure the child will take birth. And if man and woman come together, it's not necessary that the child will be taking birth. Uh, until unless it is sanctioned by the Lord. Second, like even if child, so even the person does not know which child is the boy or girl will be taking birth, does not know. Uh, there was one person came to me and he told Prabhuji, I am trying, but I am having. First, I got the daughter. Then second, I got second time again. I got the daughter, and third time also I got the daughter. Now I am completely defeated. I am praying that I get the son. Uh, what should I do? I told you can't do anything. You are impotent. Actually, by the mercy of the Lord only, it can happen. You may get son or what. But the thing is most important that we have very limited control in this world. Uh, like you see that this in Dwarka, this incident happened where the that Brahmana was having Brahmana given a birth to a child, and then birth that child left his body. It got disappeared. Not but the Brahmana was completely bewildered, and then he begotten the another child, and he also got disappeared. Then third child, then the Brahmana became completely angry that how being the Ugrasen, being a such as Kshatriya here, Krishna is there, Balaram is there, in presence of everybody who are there in this kingdom. You know? So how this inauspicious thing is taking place in the presence of a father, the son is dying. Uh, so then he went and started criticizing Ugrasena, Krishna, Balaram, everybody. And that was the time the Arjuna comes and tell, uh, I am there. Anna, I will save your child. Right. Even Krishna may not save your child, Balram may not save, but I will save your child. Like that, Arjuna started telling. And Arjuna comes to that place and he started, and then Brahmana said that if you could not save your child, then if you could not save my child, then Arjuna says, if I cannot save your child, then I will enter into the fire. Then, but I will make sure that your son does not die. And then Arjuna creates the layers by his arrows. And says, no, there should not be any attack of the any evil things. Then, and then the child was begotten by that Brahmana. And then when child takes birth, and Arjuna was all alertness, he was completely aware, and he wanted to fully protect the child, but still the child got disappeared. And so Arjuna was completely devastated. And, and then Brahmana, that Brahmana who was telling to Arjuna that you were telling so strongly, you were telling that you will save my child. And, where is your potency? Where is your that strength? And, and then Brahmana started criticizing this Arjuna like Aditi. Arjuna started feeling very bad, but then he thought that let me enter into the fire. And that was the time that Krishna comes and Krishna tells Arjuna, well, that don't enter into the fire. Well, I am there. Well, like same thing happened in the battle of Kurukshetra also, where the Arjuna, they till the evening, if I don't kill Jayadratha, I will enter into the fire. Well, but it was Arjuna was saved by Krishna. Well, so Arjuna was at that time he was the most powerful personality. Well, but we see that Arjuna was also got defeated. Well, so our strength, our the jiva is like what Prabhupada is telling. The jiva cannot be equated with the Supreme Lord. Jiva is impotent. Jiva's potency is very less. You know? And whatever potency he has, that is also sanctioned by the Lord. Like when Arjuna was returning from Dwarka with those many queens, so that time, you know, it's just coward boys comes and then start attacking on the Arjuna. And Arjuna was defeated by those coward fellows. And then Arjuna, "Arey, I was the same person who won the battle of Kurukshetra, but I am not able to defeat these coward boys." Then again he remembers Bhagavad Gita at that time. Uh, So see, we need to understand this fact that the jiva cannot be, jiva is very small, very minute in front of the Supreme Lord. Uh, Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yovidadhati kama. So that Supreme Lord is the one, the jiva is many. And he is the supreme. He is Vibhu, we are Anu. Right? So see, what a learning lesson we can get from this, what Prabhupada want to say, that we should not be proud at any point of our life. And whatever we achieve in our life, we should give credit to the Lord. Right? So that's why it is very important to have this mood of Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarurapi Shaishnava, Amananda. What is my strength? What is my power? And we don't have a control over our own bodies. What to speak of other things. Right? So this is that's what Prabhupada is telling. But the Mayavadis, what they equate Jiva with the Supreme Lord. This is the biggest mistake they do. This is the something like equating the potent and impotent. Right? Okay, go to the next. ऋषे भेर बहुधा गीतम छंदो भेर विविधे पृथक ब्रह्मसूत्रे पदश्चैव हेतुमाद्भे विनिश्चिता. Yes, somebody can read.
That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is specially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect.
Uh, the presentation of Krishna is so wonderful here. Anna. He's just like acting like a devotee only, Krishna here. What is telling? Whatever I am presenting, that's about Kshetragya and Kshetra, and it is not on whatever I am presenting, it is described by various sages also in Vedic writing. He is giving confirmation of that thing from the various sages, the sadhus, and also in the Vedic writing, like he's telling, it is especially presented in Vedanta Sutra, which is specifically, it is there in Chandogya Upanishada. And Chandogir has been mentioned here. And with all reasoning as the cause and effect. And here we learn very important thing that Krishna is presenting about the Kshetra and Kshetragya and as it is, which is described in the Shastra. And so there is a whenever for what is a learning lesson for all of us that we should also whenever we present Krishna consciousness, it should be in line with Guru Sadhu Shastra. And so here we see that Krishna is presenting what is already described by the sages. And second thing is the Shastra. Then, the Shastra Chandogya Upanishad, it has been mentioned here. Then, so this is called check and balance system. Then, so that whatever we present, it should be authorized by Guru, it should be authorized by sadhus, and it should be authorized by Shastra. Yes, read this highlighted word, somebody.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the highest authority in explaining this knowledge. Still, as a matter of course, learned scholars and standard authorities always give evidence from previous authorities. Krishna is explaining this most controversial point regarding the duality and non-duality of the soul and the supersoul by referring to a scripture, the Vedanta, which is accepted as authority.
Yes. So here, it is not what we say is presenting something. We need we need to present the Krishna consciousness coming in the line. What is coming, what is described by the higher authorities. But generally, a person feels that okay, something I can describe my own, and then it then I have done something. No, the greatness is not into presenting something different, but greatness is actually is in the presenting in the line of authorities. And, like when Vallabhacharya comes to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so then Vallabhacharya brings, I think, this commentary on his own commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. He wanted to speak to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which was not in the line of Siddha Swami. And Mahaprabhu did not pay any attention to the Vallabhacharya. And so Mahaprabhu says also, because you are not following Siddha Swami or Swami, and you are like a prostitute. And so what Mahaprabhu wanted to say that anybody is not coming in the line of not presenting Krishna consciousness from the authority, then it is just like that is like that person is not chaste to the parampara. That person is not loyal to the parampara. So that's why it is. Then what happened? The Vallabhacharya, and, completely when the Mahaprabhu did not hear from Vallabhacharya, then Vallabhacharya goes from that place, and uh, he he start describing the commentary to this Gadadhar Pandit. Then Gadadhar somehow did not wanted to hear, but still he has to hear because he was forced by Vallabhacharya. But internally, Gadadhar Pandit was praying that, oh, my Lord, you know my heart, you know my intention. I do not want to hear that. The devotees don't want to hear also the subject matter which is not coming in the line of Parampara also. So Krishna is setting here example for all of us that we need to present in the line. Yes. So here now further Prabhupada is describing the Chandobi. What is the Chandobi word? The word Chandobi refers to the various Vedic literature, the Taittiriya Upanishad, for example, which is a branch of Yajurveda and describe the nature of the living entity and the supreme personality of Godhead. Now, further, what Prabhupada is describing, the one of the very important thing which is very much relevant for all of us. As stated before, Kshetra is the field of activities, and there are two kinds of a Kshetragya, the individual living entity and the supreme living entity. As stated in Taittiriya Upanishad, the Brahma Pucham Pratishtha. So this Brahma Pucham Pratishtha, what is the meaning of that? The Prabhupada describing that there is a manifestation of Supreme Lord's energy known as Annamaya, dependence upon the food for existence. This is a materialistic realization of the Supreme. And then there is a Pranamaya. After realizing the Supreme Absolute Truth in the food, one can realize the Absolute Truth in the living symptoms of the life form. In a Jnanamaya means what? The realization of extends beyond the living symptom to the point of thinking, feeling, and willing. Then there is a Brahman realization called Vijnanamaya, in which the living entity's mind and life symptoms are distinguished from the living entity himself. And the next and supreme stage is called Anandamaya, the realization of all blissful nature. Thus, there are five stages of Brahman realization, which are called Brahma Pucham.
वो सिलेंडर खाली है ना पक्का?
हाँ, सिलेंडर
मुझे चेक
किसका
करने दो।
खाली नहीं. Okay, so see, this is called kosa also. With the five kosas. So what is these five kosas exactly? Okay, these are the different levels where the living entity realizes the Supreme Lord. So how we can understand? So let us, what is the meaning of kosa? Kosa means it is an objective level of God's energy, and there is a subjective level of individual realization. It means these are objective level of God's, and these are objective, these levels are there, but not necessary that every living entity has to be in a particular, what in all the kosas. So there may be the realization of the living and different living entity may be different in different, they can be in different kosas. Like for example, this is the example I'm just written here. Like see, somebody is a citizens having the, like citizenship is a objective reality. That almost everybody is citizen in this world, whoever is living. Like for example, somebody is living in India, he's having Indian citizenship. Somebody is living in Pakistan, he's having the Pakistan citizenship. But we need to understand Pakistan citizenship is not Indian citizenship. There is different categorization. Okay, this area somebody is living is a Indian having Indian citizenship. Now, what is the subjective conception of that? Okay, do I understand or not? Like all human beings living in India, they understand that they are Indian. But a dog is also living in India. He is also Indian citizen. But he does not understand that he belongs to India. He does not have the subjective understanding of that, subjective realization of that. Objectively, he is also there. So this is depend on individual living entity that they are their realization, the particular living entity. So everybody, these five kosas are there. But which kosa you go or you identify or not, that depend on individual living entity. So see, like just now we understood that dog may be born in India, but dog do not have this understanding that he belongs to India, because he does not have conception of that this is the boundary in which, and this is the, after what we say, uh, which is that place, Atari, Atari is the place. If you go beyond the Atari border, then you will find that there is a Pakistan. So that dog does not have that kind of understanding. But a human beings has that. That is called subjective level of individual realization. So now let us go in more detail of this. What is Annamaya course? So what is Annamaya course? So Annamaya course means for him the food is everything. His realizes his understanding of supreme means food. And like just like the baby is there. The baby he want that pleasure through food. Everything he finds the shelter in the food. And he understand everything to be the potential food. तो आप लेकिन कोई भी छोटा बच्चा होता है तो वो किधर भी जाता है, मोबाइल रहेगा तो उसको मुंह में डाल देगा, है ना। खाना रहे, खाने को भी मुंह में डाल देगा, है ना। Sometime even you will see that a baby is there, a baby will pass urine and stool, and they may put the stool in their mouth only, and their own stool they will put in the mouth because they do not. They put and they think that everything is a potential food. Getting. So this is the lowest level of understanding. You know. You can also refer it to lowest kind of a consciousness. Also, you can see. You know. But then there is a pranamaya course. What is a pranamaya course? है ना, कि अभी बेबी क्या है, वो सब कुछ खाना समझ रहा है, और वो चलते चलते वहां पे कहीं से एक कैंडल जल रहा है, मोमबत्ती जल रहा है, उस मोमबत्ती जलती हुई मोमबत्ती को मुंह में डाल देता है वो, है ना। तो फिर उसका मुंह जल जाता है, ओह दिस इज नॉट द फूड, दिस शुड नॉट बी ईटन बिकॉज आई एम गेटिंग सो मच पेन, माई लाइफ इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, है ना। So that kind of a, then he started understanding that everything is not a substantial food, है ना। It should I have to see its survival value also, है ना। तो जनरली यू विल फाइंड एनिमल्स जो होते हैं वो हर चीज को सूंघते हैं, है ना, और उसके बाद वो चेक करते हैं कि इट हैज द सर्वाइवल वैल्यू और इट कैन इट इज गोइंग टू सर्वाइव मी और नॉट, है ना, और इट इज हार्मफुल फॉर मी, है ना। तो दे दैट कोर्स इज कॉल्ड प्राणमय कोर्स, है ना। इट मीन्स व्हाट, it means also saving one's life. Pranamaya course means what? What is helpful for protecting my prana and what is not helpful for protecting my prana. है ना? So this is due to the Rajoguna and Tamoguna. है ना? 99.9% of living entities there in Annamaya and Pranamaya course only. है ना? But then higher is what? The Jnanamaya course. What is the Jnanamaya? It is also called as a Manomaya course. है ना? When one becomes aware of subtle body. है ना? It means what? One starts thinking at this level. But more important, this statement is very powerful, which all of you can see. All conscious being thinks, but not all conscious being thinks about their thinking. It means what? Everybody thinks, है ना? But not everybody thinks about their thinking, है ना? Just like for example, है ना? When we were a small child, then we would not think about our thinking. But when we came to the age of 10, 15, 20, then what happened? We started, Arey, why I become angry? I don't want to become angry. And, I am becoming a lusty. I am becoming greedy. And, like many of the time, the first year comes to me, and sir, please tell me, and I don't want to become angry, but this anger comes. How to, and, it means what? He's thinking about his thinking. And, so this stage is called Manomaya course or the Jnanamaya course. है ना? Like at this level, the thinking, feeling, willing is more activated. है ना? Where one start looking for the mental pleasures. है ना? So that is called Jnanamaya course. है ना? But then again, higher than Jnanamaya course is called Vijnanamaya course. What is a Vijnanamaya course? है ना? Is that one start understanding that I am not this body, I am the Atma. Where one start discriminating between Kshetra and Kshetragya. है ना? That is called Vijnanamaya course. है ना? So, and then finally, the last is what? Anandamaya course. What is the Anandamaya course? When the living entity start understanding that there is a supreme Lord, there is a super soul. है ना? And Our job, our main duty is to develop the relationship with that Supreme Lord. And if I serve that Supreme Lord, and then only I can be happy. That is called Anand. Real Anand is possible at this level. To see now here Anomakos also living entity get he he get the experience of the Lord through foods. And the Pranamakos also through prana, he has the experience of the Supreme. And the Jnanamay goes through the subtle body. But a Vijnanamay goes, he start understanding that I am beyond this body. There is Atma, who is the part. And then the Anandamay goes, only their understanding is there that we are not only the Atma, but we are the servant of the Lord. And our main duty, our main job is to cultivate relationship with the Lord and the serve that Lord. Then only we can ultimately can be happy. है ना? So now most of the living entities, they remain into Annamayakos, Pranamayakos, and Jnanamayakos whole of their life. Even human beings also. Very few human beings will be there, they come to the Vijnanamayakos. And in that also very few will be coming to the understanding that the goal of a life is to please the Supreme Lord. So this Anandmayakos, very few living entity comes finally. Yes, somebody can read this highlighted one.
Out of these, the first three, Annamay, Pranamay, and Jnanamay, involve the fields of activities of the living entities. Transcendental to all these fields of activities is the Supreme Lord, who is called Anandamay. The Vedanta Sutra also describes the Supreme by saying Anandamay Abhyasat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is by nature full of joy. To enjoy his transcendental bliss, he expands into Vijnanamay, Pranamay, Jnanamay, and Annamay. In the field of activities, the living entity is considered to be the
So here,
enjoyer.
just 1 minute. Here the Prabhupada is writing, the Supreme Lord, and to enjoy his transcendental bliss, he expands into these all four, Vijnanamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, Anamaya, because the most of the living entities, they are in lower consciousness, how they can experience the Lord. So they experience the Lord in the somebody in the food, somebody through the uh, what we say this the other life symptoms, and then somebody through the what we say this through the subtle body, and then uh, the Atma. Yeah. In the field of activities, the living entity is the considered to be the enjoyer, you know, and different from his is called Anandamay. That means that if the living entity decides to enjoy in dovetailing himself with Anandamay, then he becomes the perfect. And when the living entity becomes a perfect, when he dovetail this uh, tendency to enjoy, you know, with the Supreme Lord, and he starts serving the Supreme Lord, you know. So how much ever living entity may try different kind of pleasures. So that's why you see that the living entities they're trying to get the pleasures to different ways, through this body. So then what the pleasure he gets, ultimately get frustrated, does not get ultimate satisfaction. But when he start understanding that I am the servant of that Lord, and if I serve him, then only I can be happy. The unlimited pleasure I can get by serving him. So that's why you say that Isopniषद Srila Prabhupada says that all kind of incompleteness is experienced due to incomplete understanding of the complete whole. है ना? तो हमारे जीवन में जितना भी असंतुष्टि है वो किसके कारण है? कि incomplete understanding of that Lord. है ना? What is that incomplete understanding? It means what we see the God in the food or through jnanamay, pranamay. Through that we try to take the pleasures actually. But ultimately, when we start understanding the Supreme Lord and serve Him, then only we can be happy. That's what Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur also says. That there is only one problem in the whole world. What is that? The lack of Krishna consciousness. Because more people will become Krishna conscious, they will be happy. And yes. Now let us go ahead. This the so this is called Brahma Pucha Pratishtha. है ना? So we need to go beyond this Annamay pranamay and what manomay or jnanamay goes, and we go to the vijnanamay and anandamay. And, but Srila Prabhupada mercy is so wonderful that Prabhupada has made everything anandamay. He made these all voice centers, with so many temples, where a living entity can directly start serving the Lord. And, and that's what Prabhupada has given. He has cleared the goal for all of us. What is that? Going back to Godhead. And without our knowledge also, only, without our knowledge also, Srila Prabhupada is engaged into so many services to all of us. That is actually in Anandamaya Kosa. And if we do those services very properly, with the understanding of that this is service to the Lord. And now let us go to the, so these all are like little technical sections because this is the Jnana Yoga section is going on. So all of you have to be little bit patience to understand it. You know? But if you understand it very clearly, it will be very helpful. Then next is Mahabhutanya Ahankaro Bodhir Vektamev cha Indriyani Dasekam cha Panchachendriya Gochara Ichcha Dvesa Sukham Dukkham Sangata Chetana Diti Etas Chitra Samasena Savikaram Udahritam. So now Krishna is telling that how this body is constituted. You know, the fourth text you might have seen, you know, there were the five things were mentioned. The first thing was that how body is constituted. The answer is given here. The first what is first loka you'll see this is what Mahabhutani. So what is Mahabhutani? The five great elements. What is the five elements? Not water, fire, ether. You know? Then there is a ahankara, the false ego. है ना कितने हो गए छह सिक्स देन बुद्धि इंटेलिजेंस अव्यक्त है ना द अनमैनिफेस्टेड मेटेरियल नेचर दैट इज कॉल्ड प्रधाना है ना दिस इज टोटल हाउ मच एट है ना एंड इंद्रियाणी दस एकम च है ना तो व्हाट इज दिस इंद्रियाणी दस एकम इंद्रियाणी दस एकम मीन्स फाइव कर्मेंद्रिया फाइव ज्ञानेन्द्रियाज एंड माइंड how much it is total 11 and completely it become 19 now. And then Pancha Indriya Gochara. है ना? So where the senses wander, है ना? The sense objects. Senses goes for sense objects. So what all are the sense objects? Smell, touch, form. है ना? So these are the five sense objects which has been mentioned here. So 19 plus 5 total is how much? 24. है ना? So these are 24 elements by which the Kshetra is constituted. है ना? The body is made of. है ना? The next question was that, this was the next question you see here. The first one was the how body is constituted. So that has been told here. The next is what changes the body undergoes. है ना? So this is has been told here. The savikaram. है ना? There is a savikaram. है ना? So what is the vikara? Then he is telling the icha dvesa sukham dukkham. है ना? Because of their desire, and then there is a raga and dvesa. Then there is a sukham also, dukham also. And what changes take place in the body? The changes take, this body goes through sukham and dukham, and that sukham and dukham comes due to the raga and dvesa. And, then- so how we can understand this? So we can understand by like just like you are sitting in the movie theater. By that you can understand it nicely. And you are sitting in the movie theater, and the movie theater there is a whole darkness is there. You find there is a the screen is there, the projector is there, the screen, the projector, Hana, and all the things available there, they are called as a chitra. Hana. Now, what happen when you start identifying with that chitra? Hana, their whole problems begin. When the light is put off, the projector, from the projector, the light goes on that screen, है ना? And then what happened? The movie begins, है ना? And a living entity, although he is separate from that screen, he starts feeling that he is inside the screen. है ना? Getting, and he start identifying with that screen. Like for example, the hero is coming, है ना? And heroine is coming, है ना? The hero and heroine is embracing each other. So he feels joy, है ना? The vikara started happening, है ना? The changes in his body is happening. What is that? Sukham. But then after some time he sees that the villain is attacking the hero. So then there is a dukham is also there, है ना? So there is a sukham. That's why you'll find many of the time the people who are sitting there in the movie theater, they start crying. Sometimes they get up from the seats and then they started they loudly shouting, है ना? Like some hero is standing in and the villain is coming from the behind, है ना? So this fellow will the people who are sitting, अरे पीछे मुड़ के देख, है ना? Get it? So he says like that. So why? Because he is strongly identifying with that. Although nothing is there, the illusion is there, है ना? So that is the vikar is what? The ichha, dvesa, sukham, dukham. है ना? But you see, because he's identifying with that movie, but actual reality, movie is just illusion. The reality is something else. है ना? You know that when the movie get completed and the people comes out, है ना? Then they are completely into different world actually. है ना? They start under okay, ठीक है अभी जाके खाना है, अभी जाके एग्जाम का तैयारी करना है ना? Like that. They cannot remain into that illusion for the long period of time. Although the influence is there for some period of time. है ना? But then it is told that vikara is also called as चेतना के अंदर भी विकार. ये कैसे? संगात तास चेतना. How is it like that? है ना? The consciousness, although the soul is spiritual and the consciousness of the soul is completely pure, but when it comes to this material world, start identifying with this body. That happened due to what we say the polluted consciousness. है ना? The Chetana also get polluted. That the Vikar start taking in the like as soon as that what is a polluted consciousness? It is like that projection on the screen. है ना? So that what we say that he's seeing with that vision and then he start identifying with that thing. That is called polluted consciousness. And then what happened? The Dhriti. Dhriti means what? His intelligence, his conviction, that also becomes polluted. That the Vikar start taking in that also. How? Because he become convinced that uh, what is going on, it is the right. He start identifying very strongly. I am in the movie, and I am the part of that movie. And like somebody says that I am Indian, and he start fighting for the India. And so that is a strong conviction is there that I am Indian. Somebody has a strong conviction is there that I am Pakistani. He start fighting for the Pakistan. And so this because of this polluted consciousness, and also what happened, the intelligence that also is convinced about that he is a Kshetra. So this is Krishna is telling as a vikara, which I have mentioned here. You know? So yes, so he strongly identify with that movie theater, and to the degree he strongly identify, he is into the illusion. That is not the reality. You know? So that's how his buddhi is also become the uh, polluted, and that is also called tamas buddhi. Prabhupada is writing here tamas buddhi. Tamas buddhi means what? When intelligence and ignorance, one start identifying with the material body very strongly, and is convinced about it, and somebody start identifying that okay, I am the engineer, and they start acting according to that. Right? In Krishna conscious circle also, after coming to that, our real identity, we need to understand that I am servant of Krishna. Other than that, all other identity, and which we may be convinced about it, but that is not the real identity. Right? So that's why Prabhupada says, a real Saurya or real, what we say, the Sauryata, what we say in English? Uh,
Chivalry.
Chivalry. What is the real chivalry? Is that uh, Swabhava Tejate Sauryam. The one is able to give his Swabhava, is understand this identification with this body. And that is called the real story. And coming to the real understanding, real identity, that I am servant of Krishna, and acting upon that. Uh, and then now, then Prabhupada is telling at the last, this is the, somebody can read this last paragraph.
The body is the representation of all these factors. There are changes of the body, which are six in number. The body is born, it grows, it stays, it produces byproducts, then it begins to decay, and at last it vanishes. Therefore, the field is a non-permanent material thing. However, the Kshetrajna, the knower of the field, is its proprietor is different.
The field, what is this field is going through the changes. Which all changes? The body grows, born growth, like say changes which we say born growth and then stays and produce byproduct and begins to decay and then finally vanishes. So the whole thing is that this body is different, and to the degree we identify, we suffer in this world. And so we have to understand that we start coming to this slowly understanding that this we are not this body actually. And this body will be going through many changes. And and to the degree we identify, we will be suffering. Like we see many of the examples, like Vritrasura was going through a lot of pain, but still the Vritrasura did not identify himself, and because he did not identify with this body, and he identified his real position, he will remain steady in that position. Let's say the Pandavas, so much pain the Pandavas has to go through. You know? But the Pandavas, they did not identify, they understood that they are servant of the Lord, and this is not permanent position. You know? The situation, they have difficulties they have to go through. They understood it is a temporary. So in our life, it is very important to understand that whatever struggles and the suffering we are going through, this is temporary, and, and it will go away. And this is the body given by the Lord, and this is our due to our own purva karma. The suffering is coming. So to the degree, if I identify with the suffering, I will, like we see, his only Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. His body is so much. You see, so much. Maharaj in one video also said that there is a kidney transplant is there, heart transplant is all the, but still he is most happy. You know? And he is inspiring so many people. So we can see here is the person who is there in Anandamaya realization, Anandamaya pose. So where he does not identify with the body. And that's what the one of the very golden sloka is there for all of us, and which help us to not to identify with the body and take more shelter of the Lord. That is what Tatte nukampa susamik samano bunjan evastapitam vibhakam. You know? So what this sloka says, कि whatever suffering is coming due to my own purva karma, you know? So let me take shelter of the Lord and wait for the when the mercy of the Lord will come in my life. You know? So when we are in this mood, this body is changeable actually. The body will be going through many things actually. Sometimes health issues will be coming, some bodily issues will be coming, or some people will come and tell something and go away. And that is Adi Bhautik Klesas. Then Adi Devik Klesas will be there sometime. And so this is the material world. This is the reality of the material world. And so which we need to understand and more. We see the whole Bhagavatam is filled with that. Dhruv Maharaj, he got Adi Bhautik Kles. But what his mother Suniti told, go and take shelter of the Supreme Lord. है ना? and Dhruva goes immediately. And due to what happened, because he became the great pure devotee of the Lord, even the thought of, or even the consciousness of the Suruchi also changed. Although Suruchi did not practice devotional service, but Dhruva became pure devotee. Dhruva became great devotee. Suruchi's consciousness also. If we become wonderful devotee of the Lord, then what will happen? Others' dealings toward us will also change. That is the way to deal with the Adibhautik places. You know? It is very important in our life to keep the small thing as small and keeping big thing as big. What is a big thing? Practicing Krishna consciousness. Small things, bodily problems. Small things means Adi Bhautik klesas, Adi Devi klesas, and Adi Atmic klesas, which will be coming. No, correct. So we have to keep the big thing as big. Correct. Like we are here in Sukatan, where Krishnanand is making sure we keep the big thing as big, giving us everyday target of chanting. Yesterday was 32 rounds, today Prabhuji told we will chant. We all will try to become Lakpati. So how we don't have any account and we are not going for job, how will become Lakpati? So telling will become Lakpati by chanting his holy name. The 1 lakh name will try to chant 64 rounds. But then he was focusing upon one very important thing is what that actually you are chant. If you can chant the more quantity of rounds, that is very nice. But with that, very important that we take care of quality of our chanting. And we should be in the mood of a prayerful mood. We should chant. And we should long for the taste in holy name. We should yearn for the taste in holy name. We should beg for the taste in holy name. And until unless the longing, yearning, and begging is there, that mercy of Lord will not come. So that's what. So now further, we will be discussing in the next class. But what is this next sloka? This is Krishna is telling about jnana. What is jnana? The next question is answering. The jnana is telling, the jnana Krishna is not telling about any technical things. Jnana Krishna is telling as the virtue, the good qualities. You know? So Krishna is ultimately telling somebody is having jnana means he has the character. So, so that's what Prabhupada also says. Education means what? Character. But nowadays, people are studying in big universities, big colleges, but still they do not have any character. So they do not have any jnana, actually. That's what Krishna wanted to say. And this is uh, uh, they are the 5 slokas together. And Prabhupada gives the purport of all 5 slokas together. Why? Because all the 20 items of knowledge has been explained here. You know? And this is the only place where the 5 slokas are together in Bhagavad Gita. And this is the one of the most important section. So I think we will devote one full class for this. Or may take some more one two slokas. In the next class, we will discuss about this because this is very important for all of us practicing devotees. So today I discuss about what there is one thing I just revise it. The first thing I discuss about that how we need to whenever we go for preaching and we explain Krishna consciousness, we should do in uh, under the line of parampara, and in the line of parampara, and or whatever coming in the line of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Then we saw for the Brahma Pucha Pratishtha, the 5 levels of this consciousness, you can say, the kosas, 5 kosas, which is called Annamaya kos, and, uh, and then there is a called Pranamaya kos, Jnanamaya kos, Vijnanamaya kos, and Anandamaya kos. And then we saw that how what the body constituted of. The body is constituted of the 24 elements. And then in the body, the vikara changes takes place. That is ichha dvesh. And due to ichha, there is a sukham. Due to dvesh, there is a dukham. And there is a change in consciousness. Consciousness become polluted. And dhriti become polluted, having a conviction with the material identity or bodily concept of life. These are the vikara in the body, takes place. And then we saw that how it is, we related with the example of a movie, somebody seeing the movie in the movie theater. And- Okay, anybody has any doubt? They can ask one minute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ah,
Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji, for explaining very wonderfully. Prabhuji, one doubt I was having, Prabhuji, like this consciousness, this is the characteristic of soul, which is antimatter. So, Prabhuji, how it's happening, like it's like we are in this material world, which is basically matter. So, any incident like this movie theater example you took, Prabhuji. So, like in this movie theater, this is a like whatever things are there, they are matter around us. So how this matter can affect us, that the consciousness, which is very characteristic of soul, which is antimatter. So is due to this like Pachipatra Sakti of Maya Devi, or like what?
when a living entity desires to enjoy in this world, so then living entity gets covered by three modes. You know? The covering of three modes means what? Is consciousness getting polluted. That is called bhoga vritti. So although is a living entity is different from the body, and like you are sitting in the car, but you are different from the car. And so although you should not be affected, but because you identify, that's why you get affected. So to the degree we identify with the car, we get affected. Just like अगर आपके वॉइस के बाहर वॉइस आपकी बाइक खड़ी है ना, और आपने देखा कोई कार आके उस बाइक को टक्कर मार लिया, है ना, तो आप एकदम चिल्लाने लग जाओगे, है ना, and you may start abusing that person, car driver. But then you find that that bike is similar to your bike, but that is not your bike. The bike number is different. है ना? Then you find great happiness. Oh, that is not my bike. है ना? Because to the degree you identify with your bike, what happened? You were into painful situation. But when you understood that was not your bike, somebody else's bike, then you were happy. है ना? This identification, है ना? So Jiva started considering that I am this body. है ना? How this happened? This is the only call the covering of this what we say Rajoguna Tamoguna. And actually how it's happened, that will come further also. These all happen, what we say, the mind is the medium actually, where we start identifying. Mind, Maya Devi interact with the Jiva through the mind. है ना?